This is First Gen Xers.
Poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats, poetic beats.
Good afternoon, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? In the immortal words of Whoopi Goldberg in Sister Act 2. Hey, oh, hey. Oh. Anyway, yes.
That's not working, sir. That's not working.
But it's out there. It's out there in the etherverse. Doesn't matter now. It's out there. All right. So as y'all know and y'all can read, if y'all can't, I'm sorry. But the names are right below the faces as you have Dark Lord 100 here in front of you, followed by the one and only Runeskar, better known as Dave. And now we have the point man, the man with the master plan, the one and only, the Saint. So, gentlemen, we have a lot to discuss today in this 2.5 hour block. And Idris Elba will not be joining us, damn it. Another episode without Idris Elba.
Can we get
Idris!
Idris!
Can we get Keith David?
Keith David, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. But for right now, you guys can catch all the Cheap Pop news over at Facebook at the Cheap Pop Podcast. And we're going to dive into the first topic here. So let me make sure I get the name of this comic book right. It is Marvel Knights, The World to Come, Issue 1. And it was written by, what was the name, Dave? I'm pretty
Christopher
sure.
Priest.
Christopher Priest.
Art by Joe Quesada.
By Joe Quesada, and then Richard Isanove, Richard Starking, and Comic Crafts. Tyler Smith were all involved in this thing that happened. Where they have this storyline, and when I tell you that beat for beat, it is the Killmonger storyline from the original Black Panther. Just make it a white guy instead of a black guy. Yeah, from the movie. From the movie, just make it a white guy instead of the black guy. He is T'Challa's long lost son, with what is her name, Monica Lynn. Mm-hmm. And he comes back and challenges T'Challa for the title of Black Panther and the King of Wakanda. And after some fuckery happens, it is believed that he wins. Now, I can also see where they left themselves a lot of wiggle room. I didn't read bar for bar what was in the article about what they said happened that led to all of this. But I see they left themselves a lot of wiggle room out of it, and to return T'Challa to that position. But maybe y'all are a little bit more into the comic book side of this. How did we get here?
Dave, you might want to go first. You might want to go first.
Yeah, let's have the white guy try to justify a white person taking on the role of a black superhero and black royalty. As when I presented this article to these two fine gentlemen flanking me, I literally said What in the wide world of white appropriation is this shit?
Uh,
Okay, so as Kevin pointed out, this is T'Challa's son by Monica Lynn, who
yeah,
has existed in the comics. I knew T'Challa had white side pieces.
yeah.
Okay, no judgments there. It's all good. My big issue here is that this kid, when he's unmasked, has zero African facial features in there, despite the skin coloring. Okay, he doesn't have any facial structures that even hint to black ancestry. Okay,
Yeah.
characters like Tombstone and Whale, yes, they're black albinos, but they still have distinctive facial structures. I I mean, seriously, look at this guy. He looks like he could, you know, he could be my kid. I mean, no. And
Uh,
at first, before I saw the article that Dark Lord discovered explaining the linkage in there, I thought that this was Marvel pulling off some super dicker, which,
yeah.
if unfamiliar with the term, it encompasses all the shock covers of the 60s that were prevalent in especially Superman at the time to make kids say, what's going on here and buy the comic. We're talking about like
Yeah.
it's like in the desert with Superman and Aquaman in the desert. Aquaman on his belly, crawling towards Superman, reaching out, and Superman is just up there in his cold, refreshing glass of water.
Drinking
And it's
water.
kind of, yeah, and kind of and that actually has absolutely nothing to do with the central plot in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, it's just a shock cover to get the kids to spend their nickel and or quarter on it in there. So I thought this was Marvel pulling it out, and the way they're going to get out of it was someone of certain bigoted natures, like let's say Red Skull, got their hands on a sample of T'Challa's blood, DNA, whatever, and engineered a successor child, but made him white.
Yeah.
So,
That's one way they
but
could go. That's
yeah,
definitely one way they could go.
yeah, like I
Saint.
said,
Okay.
Yeah. All right, Saint.
All right, y'all. Y'all already know where this is going. You already know where this is going. Okay. First of all, the question is why. Let's get it out of the air. Why did this character? Why does this character exist? Now, from a different angle, from a whole different angle, as the community sets it forth, we know that in the whole wide world of comics or what have you, especially the creators, black creators, so to speak, why the fuck would you even mess with something like that?
Okay.
And zero melanin?
Yeah. Like making them like Wally
That
West would have
right
been
there,
better.
yeah, that's like 6 levels of fuckery right then and there.
yeah,
That is an insult
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm
to
not disagreeing
you
with you, Saint.
know, no, it's an insult, and Marvel needs to we fucking need answers.
yeah.
We need answers.
And
I
the
mean,
thing of it,
Christopher
yeah,
and Chris, and you know who you are, bro. Seriously? Get
yeah.
the fuck out of here with that, man. Get the
I
fuck out of here with that.
I totally get
That's
what you're laying
totally
down.
unacceptable.
Yeah,
It's
I to
unacceptable.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, 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 no. You are absolutely right in there, and it's it's one thing to have the transition from a white legacy hero to a black legacy hero like Nick Fury, like Captain America. That is one thing.
Yeah.
Doing the reverse and making a black legacy character white, it's not equivalent. It is not equivalent because there are so many issues of racism, colonialism, prejudice, everything like that, that play into that transition from black to white. And this is not, and of course, the usual peanut gallery that we try to ignore is crowing saying, "See, this is what it feels like." Shut the hell up.
No, that's a
Okay.
shut the fuck up right there.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that's a deserving of not to shut the hell up, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Mind your
I'm just,
business.
This was
I'm
fine.
just,
It's fine.
yeah, I'm just trying to, limit the cursing so we don't get into excessive and get deplatformed. But yeah, I
Oh,
totally
Guys,
agree.
can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
paused on screen.
Yeah, my entire computer just froze.
Oh
Ah,
wow.
jeez.
Yeah,
Just wonder
so
why you were looking over to the
Looking
right
over at
there,
me, giving me the stank eye.
like what?
What?
all right, hold
But
on.
while
Woo!
we're continuing on, um, unless Dark Lord's got to restart since you
I
said
think
it's
I
been
need
off.
to reboot. So give me 2 seconds. Sorry, audience, but yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to reboot completely.
Yeah.
Give me 2 seconds, fellas. Yeah, it just cut on me. Okay.
Uh, yeah. You want to know what's really ironic? But um, last this last week, I just started reading Icon on my Kindle,
Hmm.
and um, I'm through the second omnibus. So we're done with Buck Wild's funeral,
Yeah.
which I got the point of what Dwayne McDuffie was saying with that. I mean,
Buck Wild, that was a hell of a
yeah, I mean, that was wonderful satire,
yeah, that was
social satire
clearly social
of
satire
and
and
satire of the industry
yeah,
in regards to black people.
and real fuckery. But let me just point this out to everybody. Listen, especially the community.
Yeah,
You know this is unacceptable. This whole thing, not even like that is a slap in the face. And then I don't know if it's fake news or not, but it's a rumor that I don't know if it was Ryan Gosling
yeah,
that's supposed to be playing a
we got
different
that coming.
version.
We got that coming
Get
up
the
next.
fuck out of here,
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
That is total man. Like,
Yeah, it is.
it
It
is a
is
sad
not
day.
a
It is a
good
sad
look.
day. It is a sad day in comics. And the thing about it is that why can't we have why can't we it's like everybody and I'm being I'm taking a stab in the dark here, ladies and gentlemen. Why is it that everybody can be in their own lane, but why you want to come fuck with
It,
us?
yeah, it's.
No, seriously,
I.
like
I. Yeah.
to,
I'm just trying to explain how I am viewing all this from my perspective
Right.
in there, which is there is a incredibly sad tendency by the status quo, which is white males, to make everything about them. If it does not involve them, it has to be catered to involve them in some way. Like this month, Pride Month. Fantastic. I'm cool with all that. This month is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm very down with that.
Oh, and
It's not, and it's
also just one more, and then also it's Black Music Month too.
cool.
Yeah, that's
I'm very
yeah.
cool. None of these are exceptions for the other,
Right.
but we got a bunch of straight guys. Well, why isn't there a straight month? That's called the other 11 months of the year. Okay, why do we have to celebrate? Why don't we have a military appreciation month? That's actually back in May. And the fact that you're bitching about that there's no military appreciation month, and we've had it since 1994, I think, under President Clinton, that shows how much you really, really care about military appreciation month.
Right.
Okay, same thing. There is white blindness, white male blindness, where if it's not about them, it's somehow oppressing them. And
I've seen a few crash outs
yeah,
with that. So yeah, I could definitely concur with that. I've seen quite a few
right.
in my
It's
lifetime of
but now here's another point. Getting back to the subject of Katema. Okay,
yeah, and then
um,
the name that's like wait what?
I don't know, but um, adding into the controversy is that back in the early 2000s, there was a Marvel animated movie called Next Avengers, where
Yeah,
it was the kids of the Avengers in there. And
right.
one of them, who's called Talon, was the child of Storm and Wolverine. And he was straight up black. So
Oh
Marvel's
yeah,
done
okay, I
this.
remember that.
Yeah, Marvel's done this before, and they have done it with an iconic black character who's able to pass her genes on and made them very apparent in the offspring. Now, we all know that the baby mama in this case is white, so maybe Marvel's trying to continue with that little bit of genetic fuckery
Nah,
where
nah,
where the
nah.
son resembles the mom. I got no
Nah,
idea.
I'm not.
I got no
I'm
answers.
sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not
Now,
buying. I'm not buying that. I'm not
now,
buying that.
I, I I don't blame you for not buying it. It's not a great sales pitch. Now,
No, no, it's
another
not even. It's not even. It's not even a
a product
sales
you care
pitch.
about. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
no, it's not. It's not even a sales pitch. It's not even a product. But the simple fact is that you know, if you're, I mean, come on, let's put it together.
yeah.
Scientist, black male, white woman. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
It
I
comes out, and it also depends. It also depends if you're light skinned or if you're dark chocolate.
right.
You feel what I'm saying? It's
Oh yeah, absolutely.
like
And yeah,
Like what?
yeah,
Like
and
like do we have to take a science class or some shit like that? Even in the Marvel fucking universe, bro.
right,
Like
exactly,
and
yeah,
with the like no what was killing me was with the hair.
right,
With the hair
yeah,
when Dark Lord pulls that back up. Yeah, we like we need answers.
yeah.
Okay, we need answers.
And
This is ridiculous.
another speculation is the way that Marvel Knights, the World to Come, is being structured, is that it's going back in time. In other words, issue number one is the furthest part of the story arc timeline. And then each issue, they're going to be showing how things led up into that. So there's still possibilities. I mean, it could be that the kid, um, we know that the kid grew up hating his dad. Okay. It could be that he grew up to be self-loathing and he started out as a more believably ethnic mixed human,
Right.
but he grew up so hating his father, his father's culture, and everything like that, that he actually sought out a way to make himself more white. I mean, yeah,
I don't know. I don't
like I
know.
said, I
That's suspect.
yeah, like I said, this is definitely Marvel's super dickery. They have, you know, Christopher Priest
No.
said that he's been working on this storyline since the first Black Panther movie
Okay,
in there.
but yeah, but I
I,
mean,
I
come on, man. Still, you know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I totally agree. Like I said, I am trying to explain the possible wiggle room that Dark Lord talked about in there and ways that it could be semi acceptable. I'm not saying completely acceptable.
I don't know. I don't even know. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if there is any room for any wiggle room
Right.
with
Yeah.
that. That's just no.
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay.
I,
But
I, I can't. I can't with the fuckery on that.
I totally understand. I agree. I think this is going to cost more core fans than it's going to gain. It's going to backfire big in Marvel's face.
Yeah,
Um,
because you already know, because you know the community. The community is already like there are so many questions, and
mhm.
you're seeing it, and especially the ones that like with the comics community, because
Yeah.
it is two different communities. You
Yeah.
have the movie universe, the movie community that really doesn't care
Hmm.
anything about the movies. But now with the comics, like
Yeah.
both of us have come from,
Yeah.
you know, we would listen. Like
And
we're not necessarily comic purists.
right.
There are certain things like, we come into question like,
Right. And it also gets down to what does the character represent. In the case of Black Panther, it is black and African excellence. Okay. Captain America, the beauty of Captain America is that he's supposed to represent America. And America, despite what some people think, is insanely diverse. It's incredibly diverse. And Marvel did a great job showcasing that in the United Captains of America arc, where you had the
Well,
Latino Captain America. You
yeah.
had
Well,
you had
there's
the homeless Captain America. You had the gay Captain America. You had all these wonderful, diverse people being Captain America and showing that off, that potential for everyone off.
well because well, and I'm just gonna say this. It depends on the perspective because it's
Right,
that's kind of like saying that everything in America is the same. You know what I'm saying? Like we want we it's like there's always room for
right.
diversity.
Or everything in America has to conform to this idealistic standard.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, and that
I can definitely I can definitely see that,
yeah,
but
and
like I
yeah,
said, it depends. It depends on your perspective. It depends on what part of the
and
country you're in.
yeah, and
Also,
a lot of people don't have the same aligning perspective on this. I mean,
yeah.
as much as I agree with you and Dark Lord, and I'm in tune with you guys, I am not 100% tuned in because I have not had the same experiences that you guys have. Okay, that's not a bad thing, but one of the things that I've been pushing about American diversity is that diversity in America makes us stronger because it's an alloy. It's using different perspectives, different attitudes, and combining them to form something stronger.
No,
Titanium,
no, no,
yeah,
no, and I get
titanium is
no.
not the titanium is seen as the strongest metal on Earth. That's what we build our submarines, our buildings, and everything out. But titanium is only that strong when it's alloyed with steel, because titanium's strength comes from pressure being put on it, from compression strain. That's titanium's big advantage. So on its own, titanium's relatively brittle when it's not under pressure.
Okay.
Alloyed with steel, yeah, it's
Hello.
fucking
Hey,
strong.
how y'all
Hey,
doing?
hey, sorry about that. But yeah,
No
so
problem.
and it's I agree with you 100%. It's your perspective, it's where you're coming from, it's your experiences. Um, you know, it's Pulp Fiction. Jules having the religious conversion moment
Mm,
in the opening with the gunfire, and Vincent just saying, "Yeah, it's just freak occurrence." Neither's
yeah.
wrong. It's just the perspective of the two characters in there. But yeah, bottom
All
line,
right.
yeah, bottom line, sympathetic white guy take. This is absolute fuckery that needs to be explained, and the explanation better be a damn fucking good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see where y'all
we
coming
need a press conference on on some
Yeah,
shit like that. Like, no, for
yeah,
real, man, because that to me that is more like you're already messing with the fabric. You're already messing with the fabric of the comic book anyway. Like, but then
Yeah.
there are hundreds and thousands. Well, there are millions of black kids
yeah,
Yeah.
that are gonna look
Out
at
there
this
reading.
shit and be like,
yeah,
wait a minute,
and
wait, what?
yeah.
What the fuck is this? I mean, the kids are not going to say what the fuck this is, but I'm pretty sure that the parents who really
Mhm.
don't understand the comics in themselves or in the movies because they're going to look at it from the movie's perspective like, wait a minute, what kind of fuckery is this?
Yeah,
Nah, nah,
Now,
nah, motherfucker, no.
yeah,
well, I'll say now in the comments, we got. Well, the thing is, asking could this white son have been adopted?
Nope, not the
No.
way that the heart shaped
Hell
verb
no.
works. It has to be
Okay.
someone of the genetic lineage, and
Okay.
they've already explained that it is T'Challa's biological son.
Yeah. But through
So
with Monica, whatever.
Monica
Yeah,
Lane.
Okay.
but with the hair, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
the,
All
the
right.
hair, the melanin, come on, man.
yeah,
So okay.
and
No.
yeah, of course,
So go ahead.
and of course, there's like I said before, it's bringing out the worst elements of white comic fans saying this is how it feels when you race swap a character from white to whatever it is.
But
And,
yeah, but those are the same people that don't understand that. No, this is nothing like when they
yeah,
do that to a black character.
yeah,
This is
it's a
because they're not.
totally different thing. It's a totally different
Well,
thing.
first and foremost, let's deal with it from this perspective before we move forward. First of all, Black Panther is a mantle. It's not a person. So yes, that person would need to be from Wakanda in order to be able to be the Black Panther. But the Black Panther is a mantle. So in that way, it's different. You see what I'm saying? It's different than taking a character who was white here and saying this is the same character, but they're black in this universe.
Yeah,
That's
it's
something
like
completely different.
it's not.
Mm.
Yeah, and like I said, it the mantle of Captain America is completely different to the mantle of Black Panther. Because when you're talking about Black Panther, you also have to tie in um, colonialism, the history, uh, and what Wakanda and T'Challa represent to the Black community. Okay, we never got into. I mean, look at how Sam Wilson becoming Captain America changed the whole narrative and brought in the history
Yeah.
of America into the bad parts as well as the good parts
Amen.
in there. And
So
you know, it's there are no good parts about white people in Africa. Period.
well, all right. So we'll
Yeah.
pause it there. We'll
Yeah.
pause it there. We can always come back to this shit. We can get a whole episode on this.
We've got
But
we
Yeah,
got
yeah,
six more. We've got what 5 more issues of the world to come to
yes.
yeah.
So for this
take
to
us
be
through there. Yeah. In the end,
I don't know.
I stand by my statement that this is Marvel doing super dickery to boost sales
No.
for their summer event.
No,
all right.
no, it's not dickery. It's I'll say it for you. Fuckery. Fuckery.
Fuckery.
On to the next one.
I mean,
All
yeah.
right. So that right there will stop us and drop us. Right into Pop Culture Corner, which will actually open up Pop Culture Corner because that conversation due to my shutdown took a little bit longer than I was planning for it to take. So I'll let it drive us in by okay. So we were just talking about the Marvel thing, Marvel doing this now. So a while back, there was the idiots that Dave referenced earlier that came up with a meme, a controversial meme, showing Ryan Gosling as the new Black Panther. I believe it was shortly after both.
Your mic's going down again.
Oh, hello.
Okay. There you go.
Okay,
There we
there you go.
Okay, so yeah, when Marvel when the joke started becoming the fucker.
Yeah.
So now that meme has found its way back to the internet after the announcement of T'Challa having a white son. That we may, in some reference to this in the MCU one day, get Ryan Gosling as the Black Panther from another
Yeah.
universe.
Nope. These are trash opinions coming from trash people. They belong in the garbage, just like those people. End of story.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well said. I just like I said, it's just one of those type of things where it's funny to me because it's so ridiculous it will never happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. Marvel's down to do some things, and Marvel's taking some jabs at their fans, like John Krasinski playing Reed Richards in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
That was really like
that
a
was-
fan service.
But those would
You
have
know?
been those. Either one of those would have been great. as much as
Yeah.
I love Pedro Pascal, he needs to stop being in everything. He needs to stop being in every single franchise. Okay.
Yeah, because there was Maxwell Lord in Wonder Woman 1984,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
He's the
The
Mandalorian. Yep.
Mandalorian.
give someone else a chance, for God's sake. But of
But isn't
course,
that the way it always seems to work in
yeah,
Hollywood, though?
it
Yeah.
is because Hollywood is extremely conservative financially and risk averse.
Right.
They don't
They're gonna
want to
go with
take
it.
chances. Right.
Right.
So, um, but yeah,
Uh,
can we talk about a change that just got announced that we can all, I think, agree on is an improvement on the
and what's
original?
that? And what's that?
That is James Gunn. It was just announced that James Gunn's Superman
Uh,
has modified Superman's motto. You remember truth,
okay.
justice, and the American way?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so DC already changed that in the comics to Superman's motto being truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
James Gunn is changing it a third time. The
Okay.
motto the motto is now for next month's Superman movie. The motto is going to be truth, justice, and the human way.
All right. All right. Okay. So I'm glad you brought up Superman because this is going to be a sidetrack subject real quick.
Yeah.
I like that first and foremost. Go James Gunn. But I want you guys to hear me out on something. So I rewatched Crisis on Infinite Earths last night. Right, the CW version. Right, which I still think was very well done. I thought it was very well put together, so on and so forth. There was only one thing that bugged me from the time I saw it, and it happens like within the first 2 episodes. There is a fight scene where the robot Amazo, right, is fighting Superman, Supergirl, Arrow, and the
Flash?
Flash,
Yeah.
right? Now they specifically say that Amazo's power, his ability to replicate powers, is that he can read the meta gene in the meta and copy that gene to give himself that power. There is a fight scene between Amazo and those four in which he scans them and picks up all their powers. Superman and Supergirl are not metas; they're aliens,
Mm-hmm.
and Arrow is a human. So technically, the only power he should have been able to copy and get was the Flash's. I was like, it didn't hit me till I was watching the scene, and I was just like, wait a minute, nah, that doesn't vibe with what y'all said he can do. I was like, there is no meta gene in Superman or Supergirl; they're just aliens. And then, like I said, Oliver Queen is a human. So what power is he vibing or is he copying from Oliver Queen?
Well, I can explain I guess a little bit because
Please,
this is
sense to me.
so the robot Amazo is was created by Tio Morrow, and it wasn't so much that he could replicate the metagene. I mean, he could pretty much copy anything, but it was pretty much to the touch. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it was supposed to be because it was originally supposed to be an alien in some way, and
Okay.
I can't remember exactly how,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay. Well, that makes sense that they were trying to keep true to what he was in the comics, but like that flies completely against the way they explained him in the show, like that during those episodes. Like they were like, yeah, he scans the metagene, and I'm like, but three out of four of them don't have a metagene. So what is he scanning to duplicate? But anyway,
Then I don't
that was
know.
just something that I sidetracked there. All right, so here's what I want to go into. I'm going to go solo screen real quick because I just want to give a quick review, guys. I want to give a quick review.
Take it away.
So this last Friday, I went and saw Thunderbolts with my daughter. And I know I'm late to the party. I know Thunderbolts came out long ago. But look, I heard a lot of negative about this movie. It was part of what caused me to pause in seeing it as soon as it came out. I am here to disagree with all that negativity. My daughter loved it. I loved it. As far as I'm concerned, it was amazing. Like it was really a good movie. Like I thought it was well written. I think yeah, ultimately if you wanted to simplify it, it's a movie about teaching a dude how to manage his feelings. Which seems like a pretty lame plot for a superhero movie, but it worked very well with the entire theme of this movie and was done very well by the directors and the actors. I will end my review by saying this. When we walked out, the one thing that my daughter noticed about the movie that cracked me up was she said, Dad, why did Bucky look irritated in every scene that we saw him in? I said, honey, that's by design. Bucky is a reluctant participant in all of this. And it showed on his face. He did not hide. But it made for a good show, and it made for a great movie. So if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, go see it. And if you're boycotting it because you don't think it's a good movie, you're just wrong. All right, that's my review. All right, Joe.
So we now have a new term, resting Bucky face.
Resting Bucky face. Yes, yes. Like it was just hilarious. That's the first thing she turned to me and said, "Dad, why was he irritated?" I was like, "You just got to understand, like
That's
that
that's him. That is his
Yep.
personality.
I'm doing it because I can." It did also lead to a different conversation with Suave earlier about whether or not Bucky is immortal, or was he iced?
No, it's a combination of both things. Um,
Okay.
in First Avenger, we know that he was being experimented on by Zola
Yeah.
to test different variations of the super soldier formula. So he essentially has the same super soldier formula that Steve has. So that leads to extended longevity, which was made even longer by the frequent cryo freezing.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
So yeah,
Because I'm like, isn't he like 100 and something years old?
oh yeah. We're nowhere near to MCU Bucky's expiration date.
Yeah. But yeah. So and then I will say this: the movie introduced me to a character I had never heard, never known of before. Caused me to do research on him, but that was Sentry.
Yeah.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
wasn't a huge fan of him and didn't know of him in the comics. So this was kind of my introduction to him. And I've heard that they tweaked with the character a little bit as far
Yeah.
as his actual how he came to be.
Right.
But I think that he's an epic character that I can't wait to see what they do more of with.
We'll see.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
I wasn't. I mean, it's kind of like he's the Superman of Marvel. You
No,
know what I'm
very well
saying?
put.
No,
Like
and,
yeah,
and,
I can see that.
and it's like it was supposed to be taken out of some memory because of the other universe, the um, the
The Void.
heroes, the
Yeah.
heroes
Yeah.
reborn
Yeah.
universe, and I guess he was taken out of continuity at that point. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
It
wasn't really
is
impressed with Sentry.
complex. It's the typical Marvel over complexing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want Marvel's Superman,
Uh,
bring in Gladiator when you bring in the X-Men. I mean, the Shi'ar Empire, Gladiator
I'll take
is
Hyperion.
well, yeah. I mean, that's why that's what everyone wants, the DC Marvel cinematic crossover event. They want Avengers versus Justice League. But the
It'll
thing
never
is,
happen.
it's never going to happen. And the thing is that Marvel can already do that. Avengers versus Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
There's your Avengers versus Justice League, right there.
uh,
No
I,
involvement from WB and their fucking shenanigans needed.
I would love to see. I'll be honest with you.
Agreed.
I would love to see the creator of Invincible take the original version of Not what was the name of that group? The one that Omni Man killed all of them.
Global Guardians.
Yeah, bring the Global Guardians. Like, I'd rather see Avengers versus the Global Guardians because I would love to see what anybody in Marvel. And I'm not saying he's stronger than everybody in Marvel. I just would love to see who Marvel would match up with Omni Man. Like Omni Man is that dude. Like, he beat the out of his own son, like,
Yep.
and didn't care. like was telling
Yep.
his son, "Why are you making me do this to you?" I would love to see that. Like, screw Homelander too. Like, I saw a video the other day talking about how Homelander could wipe out like 3/4 of Marvel's thing, and I'm like,
Dude,
dog,
Dream on.
Homelander is mid. Of
yeah,
all the Superman swipes, Homelander is the most mid of them. I saw there was a Facebook question. Who would win between Homelander and Blue Marvel? Why is this even a question? Blue Marvel would curb stomp Homelander's face into a mud hole in the blink of an eye.
you know, you know. I'm
On an
like,
asteroid.
yep. All
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
for those of you, so you have you guys seen Thunderbolts?
Not yet. I've
No.
still got
Okay.
my issues with,
Okay.
going
Yeah,
out.
to
You know,
me, I mean, don't get me wrong, because
Dave,
you
I'll send you a
know,
link of where you can watch it at home.
yeah,
well, yeah. Well, I mean, right now, Captain America, Brave New World is out on Disney Plus now. I just need to
Yeah.
watch that. I've just been
yeah.
freaking busy with other things.
For
I
sure.
had
For
to
sure.
watch. I
Uh,
watched that again too, but
Yeah.
to the Thunderbolts, it's not what I expected, because I really was hoping that the Thunderbolts could have been involved. Baron Zemo should have
Yeah.
been involved with the Thunderbolts, because,
Hmm.
after all, they were a villain team
Yeah.
to begin with.
Right.
So, with them being, and then, Delafontaine, and that little villainous little push, like, like, I really was not super impressed. It was still good though. I will
yeah.
give you
I
some.
was talking about more so of the structure of the movie itself.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
the
it was
structure,
a good
but
movie. It was well paced. It was well written. The banter. Again, Madison even said, my daughter. She even said, like the banter was better than in any of the Marvel products she's seen recently.
Now,
Like,
uh, getting back to returning villains,
uh,
um, just received word that we're not just getting Ultron back in Vision Quest.
mm.
We're getting Shannon Carter back.
Oh, Carter's Peggy's
oh,
daughter or
Yep.
Peggy's
Or
niece, was
niece.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Agent 13,
yeah,
who last we
she,
saw was the power broker in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and wormed her way back into the American intelligence community to be able to gain secrets to sell.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
part of the action of Vision Quest is apparently going to take place on Madripoor.
Okay.
So Emily Van Camp will be returning.
Now, uh, for those of you who now, thank you, Dave, for that highlight. Want to
Mhm.
say one last thing about Thunderbolts. Sorry, Dave, if this is a spoiler for you, but the last end credit scene,
Mhm.
we believed it to be the Fantastic Four making their way into the Marvel universe, and it may not be. The current Fantastic Four, Pedro Pascal and them, because a ship, basically it's a thing. They're all sitting there, banter going back and forth, and Elena checks the monitor, and you hear the siren say an interstellar or interdimensional ship has entered our
Yeah,
what you call it.
that's a lead into Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
yeah,
No,
and so yeah, and so they. But what they're saying is that we know that the Fantastic Four movie is set like what 60 something years
no,
before the
no,
events of
no.
no,
Thunderbolts.
no,
I thought
no,
it
no,
was set
no,
in
no, no,
the 1950s or something like that.
No,
no,
it's
no.
it's
It is modern day. It is modern day, but it's in
alternate dimension.
a different type of
So
technology that looks
Okay.
like the 60s, like
Right.
is pretty
Okay.
much as if the
Think of think
60s.
think of Fallout
Yeah,
leading up to where it was the eternal 1940s, 1950s up until the atomic war.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, it is a completely different dimension, and it's
Well,
all done.
that's I was gonna say that's one of the things that I brought up was the fact that if you again that listening to what's being said as opposed to what's going on the screen,
Right.
you hear the computer say interdimensional ship, you
Yep.
know, and so that gives you the thing that okay, this is not from this is more multiverse
Right.
shenanigans, you
Well,
know.
we also know that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, one of the things that the Illuminati Council was concerned about were incursions, which in the modern Secret Wars storylines were universes colliding into each other and bleeding over.
Hmm.
That's how we got Miles Morales from the Ultimate Universe into the 616. That's how we got Black Nick Fury into the 616. And eventually it's one universe or the other. There's a sort of tension struggle, and one universe or the other
Has to go
um,
in order
has
for
to
it
go.
to,
Yes.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now I wonder if any of this is going to include Loki, since he's sitting right outside of time, basically
absolutely.
watching it all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. He's
uh,
one of the vessels in for that because he's holding together the entire fucking
timeline.
multiverse.
Multiverse.
Yeah. All right. So, quick information, kind of like along the lines of what Dave was talking about. We have in Star 2027 Star Wars Starfighter. Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Gosling has been cast, as well as now they said Mia Goth has
Mm-hmm.
been cast. Let's
Really?
see. Yeah, I'm trying to see what the role is. Do you happen to know that, Dave?
No,
Who she's?
no. This project has had more starts and stops
Oh,
than live action Robotech.
wow. So this may never happen now, huh?
Right. Well, it's going to. It looks like it's going to happen. It was off, then on again, then off again, then on again. Then Patty Jenkins came in, and it was on again, and then Wonder Woman 84 hit, and it was off again because Patty Jenkins and
Now we're talking Patty Jenkins from Laverne and Shirley, right?
no, Patty Jenkins, the writer and
Director of
director
wrote
of
all
Wonder Woman.
Woman.
Ah, okay. My bad. My bad.
No, you
I
good.
didn't know. All right. So not only did that take place, but I guess Jurassic World director is let's see what these guys are talking about here. Headline reads Jurassic
Okay.
World director tackling Area 51 conspiracy thriller alongside MCU star Ryan Reynolds.
Okay. Oh, just to get back on that,
Yeah,
um, on Star Wars Starfighter, we now have Sean Levy as the director,
as a director. Okay.
who we know for most recently Deadpool and Wolverine
Okay.
and Free Guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Free Guy was yeah, both of those movies were amazing. But are we
Yeah.
but Ryan Reynolds, we'll see. All right, so here's a quick one for you guys just to comment on. Evidently, according to this article, Marvel wanted to replace a lot of the Daredevil cast with variants, basically hiring different actors to play the parts, probably so they could pay them less. But I guess once fans got word of it, they weren't having it. And so
Yeah.
Marvel decided to do what they did.
Yeah.
I've always said the multiverse thing leaves the possibility that unfortunately leaves the possibility for all actors to be disposable,
Yeah.
even if they're fan favorites. Like, we don't have to keep you. We can always replace you with another actor and then just say, "Oops, this is a different variant from another dimension."
Right.
And
Which
and
is
you know what? No,
yeah.
no.
And it's absolutely stupid and unnecessary. I mean, how many actors have played James Bond?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was geared to say because listen, you have Connery, you have Lazenby, you have Moore, you have Dalton, you have Brosnan, and you have
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Okay,
You have um, David Niven.
yeah, in a whole different, like in a whole different,
Yeah,
universe and so forth. And Sean Connery did it again, you know, after
yeah,
his first initial run. My
right.
thing is this: sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah,
When George Lazenby, when
yeah. When Lazenby, yeah,
yeah,
Lazenby did
when
not.
Lazenby came in, now, and I'm gonna tell you though, because to me personally, that was actually before it really was happening. That is considered to be the best James Bond movie of all time, and on Majesty's Secret Service,
Yeah.
Lazenby was not the exact perfect
Because
actor
he
for that one.
that
But
was
I mean,
his
I liked
that
him
was his
perfect.
first
I
role.
liked him fine, yeah.
That was his
I liked him just fine, yeah, yeah. Well, he had did some commercials and
right,
some
but he was
other
more
extra
he
shit.
was a pretty boy. He was a bodybuilder first, and a athlete, and that's kind of why they cast him because he had the look, the build, and you
Hmm.
know they didn't really care about the quality of acting.
But
For
yeah,
sure.
but see, he fucked his own self out, and Sean Connery had to come back and do Diamonds Are Forever, which is probably the worst James Bond movie behind the Man with the Golden Gun. But
What?
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I'm
know
sorry,
about
the
that,
Man with
but
the Golden
You are
Gun,
speaking
which is
heresy here, man.
no,
I would
no.
expect
I'm
you to
sorry.
say that.
That's
I would
Roger
expect,
Moore's. That's Roger Moore's. No, that's Roger Moore's worst one behind Moonraker.
I would expect you
damn.
to say "Live and Let Die" was the absolute worst
Oh, absolutely
Bond.
not. Are you kidding? That's probably one of the favorites. Hey, Gloria
Wow.
Hendry's in that movie, man. That's
And
Uh,
she's the first. That's Rosie Carver, bro.
well,
I
I'll
ain't.
say it like I'll say it like this, man. I have seen most, but not all. I would say Connery is my favorite Bond out of everybody, but I didn't really get to see many that had more in it, and really stopped watching around the Pierce Brosnan run. So, and didn't really see any of the Daniel Craig run. So
Yeah, see, Daniel
I can't
Craig.
speak on
That's
those.
yeah, Daniel Craig. I will tell you this, and I'll quickly run this up. Daniel Craig's story arc, you have to watch all of them
yeah,
if you're
Yeah,
able to, because that was like one
they all link
whole
together.
complete. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
they all link together, and that was that was the beauty of it. And Sean
Um,
Connery, my favorite Bond, but the one thing that I hate is that he wasn't in my favorite Bond movie. And on Her Majesty's Secret Service, that is my favorite Bond movie because not only did James Bond get married, but he was the precursor to Daniel
yeah,
Craig. If you ever watched any of their movies, any of his movies,
gotcha.
yeah.
yeah.
All right. So,
All right.
all right. Anything else for us before we go to break?
Um, yes,
Okay. What you got for us?
we we bid a fond farewell to Shuti Gatwa, the
Okay.
Doctor. He is no longer the Doctor.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Oh
will not.
yeah.
I will not spoil who he regenerated into.
But we don't even know if that's 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
We don't
100%.
know. Um, I do consider what happened to be fan service fuckery, but yeah.
Well,
So great. I, he wasn't my favorite Doctor, but I think that he is going to have both he and Joey Whitaker are helped redefine Doctor Who and brought a certain amount of social relevance back to the franchise. I mean, the episode Lux, they were not messing around with the realities of life for a black person in late 1950s America.
Okay,
They did not try to sugarcoat it,
fair enough.
and
Alright.
that, yeah.
Saint, your thoughts?
Oh no, I'm just um I watched the entire well, like I am a Bond fan, I'm big on Doctor Who also. And you know, it was a twist with who he went on ahead and regenerated to. And I honestly believe that just like Rune's Crier spoke on with, you know, it was a little bit of controversy, but the door swung wide open with the stories. You know what I mean? And like they really didn't sugarcoat a lot of the stuff because of one of the stories that was about literally about racism and for the last season.
Right.
And yeah, it was wild,
Good. All
but
right.
it really made you, you know, it really made you think as to what racism really could be.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right. There you go. All right, Dave.
Nothing
That's
more
it.
needs to be said.
All right. So coming up after the break, we're going to take a quick 7-minute break, y'all. So go get your popcorn ready because we are going to come back and we're going to talk money in the bank. That's right, y'all. We had some surprise winners in last night's WWE Money in the Bank
And some
pay-per-view
losers.
and some losers. And it was a great show overall, but we'll be discussing it right here after the break. So stick with us right here on the Cheap Pop Podcast. Dark Lord 100, Rune Scryer, and the Saint. We out.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. Everybody fall through. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfo. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it, keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I've been real with this. Please don't judge me, I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that.
the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah, come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
And we are back. For those of you that continue to join us and stuck with us through the promo break, I appreciate you. We've got some good content coming here for you. Ready to listen. All right. So as y'all know, 100% that this last Saturday, which would be yesterday, June 7th, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view took place. But what very few people didn't, or a lot of other people did know, but some may have chosen to watch, some may have not. Another pay-per-view that was actually quite excellent took place.
Yeah.
And that was Worlds Collide.
Yes.
WWE Worlds Collide was a pay-per-view that was done, what, 93 they said it was?
92, yeah.
Yeah, 92 was the last time they did it, where AAA and WWF worked together.
Well, actually, it was WCW.
Sorry, WCW.
Yeah.
And AAA.
I only know this because I paid attention to the announcer.
To the announcer.
To the color commentary.
Conan. It was actually Conan.
Conan, yeah.
For those of you who remember Conan from his WCW days and his WWE days. But it was amazing to watch because they took some of the best luchador wrestlers from WWE and pitted them against some of the best luchador and luchadora wrestlers from AAA. And I'm actually looking forward to it. I don't know if they're going to be showing it on the WWE whatchamacallit, but if Triple Mania is being showed, I'll probably watch it, or I'll probably find some way to bootleg it. Like, I'm interested.
I was absolutely, it was fantastic. And like Conan said, they're not trying to Americanize luchador.
Right. They're trying to bring luchador to America.
Yes, and it was just absolutely pure frantic action. Fantastic all around. And they did tie into Money in the Bank in several ways. Stephanie Vaquer, basically, right, 3 matches in 24 hours because she had that match on SmackDown on Friday, and then
the tag match, and then she competed, at Worlds Collide with her and oh my God, Oh God,
Lola
I can't.
Vice. No,
Lola Vice taking on. I can't. Well, I can't. I just don't remember them off the top of my head.
yeah. I remember Lola Vice getting in there and doing that Chun Li kick. Holy, not the
Yeah,
spinner, but the
yeah.
and,
When she got her into the corner, when she took her back
yeah,
into the corner, she was bop, 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 bop. Yeah, she's a former MMA fighter. So
yeah,
like, yeah,
Taekwondo,
like
and I'm like, damn, that was fantastic. Every wrestler in there was fantastic. I
I
even
did
like,
not know this. Hold on.
yeah,
Sorry, Dave, didn't mean to cut you off, but I just learned this when I just opened up the what you call it. That was actually a three promotion event. TNA was a part of that as well because I did not know that Octagon Junior and Laredo Kid were from TNA.
right.
They
Yeah,
weren't from
I didn't
Triple.
know that either. But I mean, I even like Mr. Iguana.
Yes,
That was
yes, he was
that was
awesome.
great. I mean, and he was doing the whole Mick Foley Sacco thing with the stuffed iguana, which
Oh
was
yeah,
fantastic. And and the commentary, at the straight commentator talking about Conan and asking him, so what happens if the iguana gets the
bites
pin?
you.
No, what
Yeah.
happens if the iguana gets the pin on 3 count? Does he get paid? Oh yes.
Oh yes, yeah. Because there was a sequence where they did like two rollovers, and then he takes the iguana and puts it on the dude's and starts count. It's kind of like the old R Truth bit
Yeah.
When R Truth threw Carmelo Hayes on his back and counted 1, 2, and Carmelo kicked out like somebody was on top of him. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was great,
It,
dude.
it was great. One question though. I
Yes,
know that Octagon Junior, um, he had he had symbols similar to Penta's logo. The
yes.
spinning star in there. So what's
Yes.
the connection there?
I believe at one point during Octagon's career, Penta, and Ray Phoenix were a trio.
Okay.
So, and then I know that I believe it may have been in TNA, but I know that the three of them at one point in their careers, I believe, were a trio. So there is some relation. They're not brothers. It's not like Ray Phoenix and
Right.
Pentagon. I don't believe they're
Right.
brothers, but I believe that they do all know each other from their time coming up
Mhm.
in the lucha scene in Mexico. Uh,
Yeah.
Right.
But
but we
yeah.
opened up with the match that Dave talked about: Octagon Junior, Aerostar, Mr. Iguana defeating the Latino World Order, which was only Dragon Lee and Cruz del Toro of them because the other guy had got injured or couldn't make it, and so they replaced him with Lince Dorado, who I hadn't seen wrestle for WWE in God knows how long.
Yeah.
Uh, but they lost that match, and then like Dave said, we had Stephanie Vaquer and Lola Vice from NXT. Uh, Taking on Cheek, Tormenta, and Dalis, who
Yeah.
are from what the way they put them over on the announce and in the videos.
They
These
are
are
the best.
luchadora legends. Like these are
Yeah.
women that have been doing this for a very long
Yeah.
time. Pardon me if I offend anybody. I
Yeah.
don't keep up on lucha that much.
Right. I don't think any of
Like
us really do.
yeah,
Um, this was like literally our first introduction to lucha outside of Rey Mysterio and
yeah,
the odd lucha that gets over in the U.S.
yeah. Sin Cara, stuff,
Yeah.
people like that. Now this
Alberto
match,
Del Rio,
Alberto Del Rio. It's hard to believe.
who is
Like
actually under contract to AAA, last I
yeah.
checked.
Well, here's what's funny about the Alberto Del Rio thing. Until I saw it with my own eyes, it was always hard for me to believe that Alberto Del Rio was a lucha because, like, I'd always in my life seen luchas as smaller guys, and
Right.
Alberto Del Rio's like 6'4", like he's
Yeah.
yacked out, like he's a
Well,
big dude.
yeah.
But then
Also,
I actually watched a AAA show and saw that no, luchas come in
yeah.
all shapes, sizes, the whole shebang.
And yeah, and also there's a lot of westernization of lucha
Yeah,
in WWE, WCW, TNA, et
yeah,
cetera, et cetera. Um, the pace was for all the matches was extremely faster than what we see
yeah.
even in lucha matches on Raw,
In
SmackDown, and
WWE.
whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just
Well, the thing with WWE is no matter what style of wrestling you're talking about, there's a WWE style of that.
yes,
Well, if you're talking about hard style, there's a WWE style of hard style,
Yeah.
lucha, etc. All right, and so in the match that surprised me, we had Legado del Fantasma actually get the victory over Dr. Wagner Jr. I'll just call him and then
El Hijo de Dr.
Psycho
Wagner.
Clown
So
and Pagano.
it basically should be Dr. Wagner Tres
Right.
because it's son of Dr. Wagner Jr.
Oh, is that what El Hijo did, Dr.
Yeah.
Wagner Jr.?
It's convoluted in there, but yeah, and Psycho Clown and Pagano, and that was a really decent match in there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's also not forget the end of the triple threat tag team, of the triple tag team. In the end,
Which one?
Dom Mysterio was in the crowd.
Oh, that was in the one with Octagon Jr. After they
Yeah,
had won the
and
match.
got-
Yeah, Dom talks shit to him. Octagon Jr. gets pissed, attacks Dom, brings him over the railing, and then they
Dom
announce
Dom puts his Intercontinental Championship on the line at Money in the Bank
against
in a couple hours.
Octagon Jr.
Yeah.
Which was a great match. Which
was
we'll
great,
get
yeah.
to when we get to Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
It was actually a pretty good match. Ethan Page retained his NXT North American Championship. Now, here's something that I truly understand and like that WWE can do now that they own AAA and that they have the working agreement with TNA. And I can almost guarantee you a working agreement with New Japan will be coming soon. I'm not saying I know. I'm saying it makes sense. You're going to see titles like the Intercontinental title defended at Triple Mania. You're going to see it defended in TNA. Those titles are going to be movable amongst the promotions.
Mhm.
Okay. And you're going to have WWE guys competing for the AAA Mega Championship and stuff like that.
Yep.
That's what that AAA thing is where it's
Yeah.
going to be good.
Yeah.
Is that
Because,
you're
I
going to
mean,
have. What's
Well,
up?
isn't Trick Williams right now the TNA World
Yes.
Champion
Yes, he
in
is.
NXT?
Yep.
Yep.
And former two-time NXT champion is now the current TNA champion.
Yeah.
But let's see. You also got Ethan Page kept his North American Championship. Laredo Kid, Ray Phoenix, Javon Evans, up and coming talent Javon Evans. Please keep an eye
that
on
was
him.
just fantastic fatal four-way in general. Really great. Yeah.
And then we closed with El Hijo del Vikingo defeating Chad Gable, the master of the lucha,
Yep.
in a singles match for the AAA Mega Championship. Now, what was funny was I questioned myself and then realized I was correct. I questioned myself because I was like, this match wasn't always for the AAA Mega Championship. I could swear it was just announced. It's just a straight up, like they were just facing each other.
Yeah.
And then they tell the story right before the match about how Vikingo had won the AAA championship literally the night before,
Mhm.
the week before.
Four. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
at
yeah.
the AAA event, and then he put it on the line against Chad Gable.
Right.
So, because for a second there, I was like, really? Is Chad really about to win the AAA Mega Championship? Like, because that would add to his whole luchador storyline.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I am the king of the luchadors. Like,
It was
so good.
It was fantastic because Gable was full tilt healing on the crowd, which was primarily Latino. In LA, imagine that. But they mic caught Gable as he's, Vikingo is in the ring. He just tossed Gable out, and Gable is just all frustrated, and you can hear him muttering, "He's just a lucha. He's only a lucha," in there. And what was that driver that Vikingo put on Chad Gable on the apron?
The one on the outside?
On the outside, on the apron.
Oh my God.
Where he
I don't
literally
know.
did, it's like a sunset flip into a DDT, head going right onto the apron.
And that's what I love when watching luchas. Like, just period. That's what I love when watching luchas. Because when you watch luchas, you see moves that you're like, what? Like,
Yep.
how did you even come up with that?
Yeah.
And it always, yeah, it never fails.
Yeah, and Worlds Collide opened with an appearance by Rey Mysterio, who was that was his American premiere, was at the first Worlds Collide, um, but um,
Who
props to
better?
props to Conan for
Yeah,
doing interspersing all the legacy lore for all the wrestlers and all the connections between them as the matches were going on. And he did as concisely as he could in the relatively few slow moments in there, because more often than not he was getting interrupted by an absolutely spectacular move being pulled in the
oh
ring.
yeah, oh
And
yeah.
so,
There
but yeah,
wasn't a lot of talking for the commentators to do because the action, as
right,
you said, high paced, fast paced,
right.
amazing.
But
Yeah,
for American who hasn't experienced lucha in this, it was super helpful, super concise,
yeah.
and um, getting back into Rey Mysterio's history. I can't remember who said it or if it was a quote from um, Rey's past, but
Mhm.
um, it was said that Rey Mysterio doesn't have a plan in there. He makes up his plan in the air. He
Yeah,
doesn't know what move he's going to pull until he's partway in the air.
yeah. And I
And
can I can see that.
right,
Ray's a vet. You figure he's been doing lucha since he was a teenager, and
oh
he's
yeah,
been wrestling, the WWE style for like the last 20 years. So if there's anybody that could seamlessly blend the two
yeah.
for an entertaining show, it's Rey Mysterio. You
And
know, and go on.
and
Oh,
they were pretty honest about the prejudices that still exist in the lucha fan community,
mhm.
um, especially in the Mexican lucha fan community, where you've got a lot of um, Latin wrestlers from Central and South America that don't get over because they're not Mexican, like Stephanie Vaquer coming from Chile. She had to overcome a lot of issues
They look down their nose at you.
in
Yeah.
there. And so um, it was really lots of interesting lore trivia bits, and it helps fill in really quickly. Uh, I am I want Vikingo on Raw. I want him
See,
in there.
I agree with you that I would love to see him go against some of the top stars from Raw, but I
Mhm.
don't think we need to see him every week on Raw. And so I think that I think this will be kind of a arrangement, kind of like more along the lines of what they have with TNA, where our guys go there a lot more often than their guys come here and are
Mhm.
seen, like we haven't seen outside of Joe Hendry at WrestleMania, and then and then people like Jordan Grace showing up on NXT. Remember, we haven't seen too many TNA guys during this membership show up on Raw or SmackDown,
Yeah.
but we've seen tons of NXT guys go over to TNA. They've been doing what you saw at Worlds Collide, for months now with TNA, and so hence how you get to Trick Williams having the win, beating Joe Hendry and winning the winning the TNA title. I think with AAA, what we'll see more of is we'll see at Triple Mania, like Legado Fantasma is challenging whoever the AAA tag team champions are for the tag team champ. Don't be surprised to see Legado
Yeah.
Fantasma win that because they're not really doing anything with them on American TV right now. So they can play that into building storylines for them on SmackDown as well as giving them to do, when they're not
Cool.
being used on
Right.
TV.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's down there with AAA and doing shows like that.
And they
So
can
so I
and
think
they can they can also bring the AAA premium events
yeah.
into play in ways that fit the WWE storylines. I am willing to bet cash money that El Grande Americano is going to get unmasked at like a Triple Mania,
Triple A event. Yeah, I can see
at,
that.
at like Triple Mania, because apparently that's the big thing for Triple Mania. That's where where luchas get unmasked, where they lose their hair, where they get all these different humiliation punishments for losing.
Gotcha. Well, we could see. We could see. All right, so
Possibly.
we'll wrap it up with Worlds Collide there and jump over to what was the main event of the evening at the Intuit Dome in
Yeah.
Los Angeles, where the original Monday Night Raw on Netflix took place. They brought us Money in the Bank. Now, gentlemen, we'll go through this bit by bit, and we will get to that important subject that I know we all want to talk about when that time comes.
Yes.
First, we're going to open up with the women's Money in the Bank match.
Right.
You had Stephanie Vaquer in her third match in less than
In
24
24
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Roxanne Perez, Rhea Ripley, Julia, and Alexa Bliss, and the one and only Naomi.
Yeah.
And you'll find out in a second why I say it like that, because it was an amazing match, guys, and I can't deny that I genuinely thought that based on the way they've been booking Rhea Ripley, that she was just going to step in there and she was going to dominate everybody and she was going to take it. I was one that I can believe that I was wrong. The person who won is the person I wanted to win, but I didn't believe that she was going to, and she proved me wrong. So the one and only Naomi is your 2025 Mrs. Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think we're going to be in for
With
some
her
interesting shit.
With
Proceed
her new
caution.
attitude. Yeah.
Yep.
Proceed with caution. Yeah. I think the ladies acquitted themselves very well through all of it. I don't think Rhea was really much of a factor outside of all the ladies need a break, so Rhea comes in to clean house,
Yeah.
and then
I
somebody.
did love the bit where they threw all the ladders on her. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
and then Roxanne Perez is hanging there and she's like, yeah, what's up? Remember that? Remember all
Yeah.
the ladders?
Yeah. Yeah,
Say your thoughts on the women's Money in the Bank match.
Oh, listen. Rhea Ripley, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that Naomi even won it. But with Rhea Ripley's first ladder match, she did all right. And I mean, she took some punishment, and she definitely got. I know she had to be in pain today
Mhm.
because the shit that
Buddy,
she
take
was
care-
going
take good
through
care of
last night, yeah, that shit was crazy, and the fantastic moves
Yeah.
on the ladders themselves, man.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Yep.
That was definitely crazy.
I was gonna say the one with there were two sets. One where Alexa Bliss did was it called Red Dawn?
Code Red.
Drop.
Yeah,
Code Red
Red.
drop. Yeah, her and I forgot who was on the opposite side. Was it Becker who took it on the opposite side? But they did a dual one of those, and then her hitting Sister Abigail at the same time that Rhea Ripley hit the
Yeah. They
hit
synchronized.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that
it
was
was like I said,
nice.
it had a lot of great moments
Yeah.
for all the women involved. I'm hoping that they had an oxygen tank and a comfy mattress for care after that match was over, because I thought for sure with the way they were hyping her up over the last 3 days and the wins and all that she was about to win the Money in the Bank. She was
Yeah.
another one that I thought like I wouldn't have been surprised if she had won. But yeah, that po baby.
Everyone got their chances to shine
Yeah,
in there.
everybody got
And,
their moment for sure.
yeah. Really, it was a great show in there. Nothing more that we really. Oh, did we have the early promo before or after Women's Money in the Bank?
What early promo?
The Chad Gable and the Creeds.
Okay, hang on just a
I
second.
think that was in between the two.
Okay.
Hold tight, gentlemen. I just want to go ahead and quickly acknowledge because and I'm sorry, and I apologize because earlier, and just charge it to my head, not my heart, quote quote. I want to go ahead and give a shout out to the one and only Kitty Bradshaw, that's in the building. Also, Chris 11, 21, she just snuck herself up in here too, and the one and only Dr. Dady Priest. How are you? Good afternoon. Welcome to the Cheap Pop
Hello.
Podcast. We're
Hey, hey.
just like right in the mix of this wrestling shenanigans going on. So continue, please. Continue,
Yep.
All right. Well,
please.
so we move from that into the Dominic Mysterio versus
Octagon Junior.
Octagon Junior. That of course Dom wins by pinfall because yeah, Dom's not losing it. But I would love to see down the road, and I think with Triple H at the helm, this will happen. That either the Intercontinental title or potentially the U.S. title drops to somebody from like a AAA or a TNA or something like that. Because, or just like the NXT North American Championship. Because, like, if you think about it, those are belts that can be defended internationally and still make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Right.
They can be defended at other promotions and still make sense.
Yeah.
Just a way to make a little bit of extra money. I know a company makes billions, but uh, all right. So then we
all about the Benjamins.
Yep. So that led us to what was a very interesting match to me. That a lot of people thought Bayley was going to make her return and interrupt this match, but she did not.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting a victory for the one and the only, the man, Becky Lynch,
Right.
who is your new
yeah.
Intercontinental
Yeah.
champion.
Now-
I kind of figured that one was gonna happen, dude. Like
Yeah.
I kind of yeah
Yeah.
to me there was nothing really surprising with the Becky Lynch, angle on it, and
Yeah. Like it was like Wade Barrett said. It's another thing to put into the silverware cabinet.
Yeah. And I think that's
Um,
basically what this last run is about.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
is that just
So-
checking, just on a checklist, just like Sheamus will win the men's Intercontinental
Yeah.
Championship at some point. It's the only title he hasn't.
Right. And here's a question from that match: is does Lyra get a challenge rematch, like how the tag?
I don't. The only stipulation on Lyra's end was that she was she would be if Becky lost, she would be able to she wouldn't be able to challenge for it. If Lyra lost, she just had to lift her hand
right
in victory,
which
which she did. Plus,
plus as Becky pulled the Darth Vader, I have altered the bargain. Pray I don't alter it any farther.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was
and
pretty
then-
much like just go on ahead and shine my boots and lick my heels or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
Yeah.
take a
well, what
walk,
was funny
bitch.
was it was like it was so well done between those two ladies.
Yeah.
That it was clear as day the moment when she's just like, you know what? Yeah, no, and she picks her up and German suplexes her. Like at first she was just like, okay, I raised your hand. All right, cool.
And then Becky says, no.
Yep,
Raise my hand to all four sides of the ring.
yep.
So it's like, what?
And she
And
does that. Then she's like, no. Put the belt on me.
you got to put the belt
Put it
on.
on me.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, yeah, you don't turn your back to somebody after you pitch them off.
Right.
Like you set yourself up for that one.
especially in the WWE. Let's
Yeah.
go.
You know,
Now,
Uh,
the one thing out of this that I would like to see for Lyra Valkyria is on Raw. I would like to see her return to the darker black colors that she had. Okay, I want my Raven Queen back. I don't want the Swan that she's been doing. And
what if she don't want to be your Raven Queen no more?
but here's she's on the ingenue to badass storyline recently.
Right.
She's having to push through her angers and frustrations and realizing that nope, I I need to be HBIC on this.
And she'll
So
get her title back. I don't
yeah.
believe this is the
Oh yeah.
last we've seen her
Yeah.
as
No.
champ.
No. No. No.
Yeah,
But
it's
all I'm saying is that return to like the black
The
wings that
darker look.
she, yeah, the darker
Yeah.
look that she had in her debuts, that would please me to no end.
All right. All right. So then we went from that match to what can be considered easily 1A, 1B match of the night, the men's Money in the Bank, despite how predictable it was going in.
Yeah.
Like, you had to live under a rock to not think Seth Rollins was going to end up winning the
Right.
Money in the Bank.
But it was
Like,
all the swerves along the way.
it was amazing. So the men's competitors were Seth, Andrade, El Grande Americano, LA Knight, which was the only one I thought would have made sense if Seth
Right.
didn't
Other
win.
than Seth, yeah.
Yeah. LA Knight, Penta, and Solo Sikoa.
Yep.
Now, all 6 men on a hell of a show.
Yeah,
But I
they
will say
did.
the bloodline proved yet again that family is some of the best storytellers in all of WWE.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
Period.
Can I do it?
Okay.
Can I do it? Can I do it?
Yeah.
Can I
Give
do
it to us, man.
I hate you so low. Listen, when I saw that, I was like, "What? Wait, what?"
Okay.
Now you saw SmackDown, right? You understand where all that where he called him
But I'm just like,
stupid. He said all gas, no brakes, and Solo said no, it should be all gas, no brains. And then Jacob overheard him. Yeah, brother. Yeah, that was like, it was a swerve, but it was just like, dude, like, yeah.
We didn't see it coming. So
The
yeah.
part that I loved about it, I'll say it. The part that I loved about it was the setup, because
Mm-hmm.
Jacob comes out, Jacob clears house for
Jacob
Solo,
and
JC Mateo.
JC Mateo, yeah.
Now,
But
mind you, this is after Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed had came in and laid everybody
yeah.
out for
And
Seth to win.
for Seth to win. And the announce table is just like, oh, that's a genius of Paul Heyman. Da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da, da. And then all of a sudden,
Well, I'll say, yeah.
Jacob Fox
Jacob and
JC Mateo come out, start cleaning house, and everyone's all like, "Oh, sounds like Solo Sikoa's got a wise man of his own and plans of his own," and and it's and they showed the bullying that they can be bullied.
So yeah, so they lay out Seth and his entire team. Jacob gets Solo up. Come on, man, it's time to go. Go get the briefcase. Come on, man. Throws him into the ring. Sets up the ladder for him. As Solo's going up the ladder, this is what I mean by the bloodline. And thank you, cameraman. That was an excellent shot. As Solo's going up the ladder, Solo gets almost to the briefcase, and Jacob grabs his foot. And Solo goes and starts like tugging, trying to get his foot up. And he's like, what the? And he looks down at Jacob, and that's when we get the line. I hate you, Solo. And he proceeds to pull Solo down and beat the snot out of Solo for like the next 5 minutes of the match while the crowd chilled, 5-2, 5-2, 5-2. And then he left, which left the door open for none other than the architect, the master designer, Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
Who knew that was going to happen. I guarantee you that's what he's going to say tomorrow night on Raw. He knew that was going to happen between Solo and Jacob. And and he climbs and wins the belt. So now we get the further on. But it's funny because at first I thought they were setting up Solo and Jacob and Emmett for a face turn so that they could be the team on SmackDown that fights against Seth and whatever, the future or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
But nah, it's time for Jacob to go solo, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah. And getting back to what I was mentioning, we had a promo, an earlier today promo that was filmed where Chad Gable, coming off of Worlds Collide, meets up with the Creed brothers, and he tells them he wants them to put the Fireball ladder, product placement ladder,
Fire.
uh, under the ring. Um, so to help out El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Help
the
him
wink
get
and
there.
the nod is, and don't forget to tell me that you've done it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't forget to tell me. Yeah.
yeah. So
But they go
so
on.
the part when El Grande Americano pulls out the Fireball ladder, this is literally the ladder that goes the top step literally almost touches the briefcase.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because they're short.
yeah. Well, there's varying sizes.
Yeah. Because him
Yeah,
and El Grande Americano, they're both like pint size.
yeah.
So they got to
But
get the really tall ladder.
yeah, so that ladder came into play several times
Yeah.
in there, but it is what it is. Seth got the contract. Yeah.
Now,
Now,
here's what's funny
mhm,
is that I wonder if Seth cashes in tomorrow night or if he makes this a strategic thing and Jey Uso stays champ for a little while longer.
yeah,
He's
Because
gonna
we
go
all
for
know
the
when Seth,
strategic.
yeah, when we all know that when Seth cashes in, Jay's dropping the belt. If it's Jay that he cashes in on, remember, it might be Cena.
or right.
Because Cena's talking about he's going to ruin wrestling and Seth Rollins may be the one to save it.
That's I think that's the more likely option is
Yeah.
that Cena Seth is going to drop the briefcase on Cena to take away the title. And
We'll
so
see.
now Cena has to work hard to get the title back to achieve his goals. So that's
We'll,
how I think it's
we'll
going to
see.
play out.
I
I
believe
don't
it. Like
know
I said,
because
it's a possibility. I can see it going that way.
well, I will say this. Somewhere along the line, if that happens, then Roman Reigns will definitely have to be in that
Right.
in that
And
in that circle.
interestingly enough, I've seen there's circulation on the dirt sheets that Roman's done completely. He doesn't want to do WWE anymore.
It's not that. It's that TKO doesn't like how much money he's making, and
Yeah,
they're trying to renegotiate his contract down. And
yeah,
after
yeah.
what he's put his body through and done over the past 5 years, I don't know if I take a pay cut either.
No,
But TKO is probably talking to them about it. That's probably why Roman hasn't come back yet. It's because they're still working out contract stuff because Roman wants to feel like he's being compensated fairly
yeah.
for the popularity that he's driven in the company. But
But
so that
with contract negotiations, that slides into the final
well,
match of the night.
we'll go into the main event. That's right, which was John Cena and Logan Paul
Yeah,
taking on Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, which was actually a hell of a match in
it
itself.
was a
Uh,
fantastic match.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
without the finish, like it
and
was.
the back and forth, the
yeah,
back and forth, the the couple of AAs,
yeah, I'm,
the five knuckle shuffle, the
I think
bionic
that,
elbow didn't come through, but
yeah,
we'll take
I
that.
think that because Jay just got the living shit knocked out of him in the ring for a good solid what, 20 minutes, 30.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They
Yeah,
cut off the ring.
yeah,
Paul and what you call it.
yeah, Paul and Cena cut off the ring completely, and um, you know, I think that's going to come into play for Monday night. So I think Jay's going to drop the title to Gunther because
No, I
he
think Jay's gonna beat Gunther. I think that if I don't see him. Here's the thing about it. I always try to look at things from a fan perspective and then from a kind of a what do I say, an undereducated booker standpoint.
yeah,
I'll say it like that.
Right.
From a fan standpoint, it doesn't make sense. He's hot right now.
yeah,
Like he's so hot right now, and you want your title on the guy that's hot. So if you have him drop it back to Gunther now, you lose all the momentum you've built with him since WrestleMania.
right,
From a kind of outside of that area, I I think that if anything, if we see Jay drop it tomorrow night, it'll be the scenario I brought up originally. He'll have a hard fought match with Gunther. He'll beat Gunther, and then Seth will come out and cash in, and
Yeah,
he'll drop it to Seth.
yeah, that's
Because
the other.
I think that would be that. I could be completely wrong on all this. I don't know anybody at WWE. I don't know anything inside anywhere. I could be completely wrong, but just logically, it would make more sense to have Jay keep the belt.
Or
And
okay,
yeah,
how about this scenario?
or another WrestleMania where he comes out and makes it a triple threat
Right,
and
but
wins the belt that way.
what here? How about this scenario where Gunther and Jay going back and forth, big epic fight, and then all of a sudden Braun and I'm still getting used to the name of the other guy.
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed. Braun and Bronson Reed come in, interfere, start beating the shit out of both Jay and Gunther to keep them down.
Mm.
It's DQ, which means Jay retains.
But Gunther wins. Yeah,
Yeah, Jay retains, and then Seth cashes in on Jay's broken body.
I could
And
see that.
yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
that would
100%.
be that would definitely be a Seth Paul Heyman.
Because it all depends on how quickly they want to put that around his waist.
Right.
Like how invested is WWE into this Seth Rollins story?
I
Go on, say.
I don't know. I don't. If
Be
anything,
right back.
we'll wait until after the events of next month, especially with the Saturday night main event, and then of course the Evolution. I'm not expecting anything super big until SummerSlam.
Mm.
To be to be 100% honest, I don't think anything is going to be super big until SummerSlam because that is one of the
Yeah.
main that's one of the
The
main
live events. Yeah.
events. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Well,
I
we
don't
have what?
think
We have
that
Saturday night's main event, and we have
yeah,
Night of Champions
Evolution.
between now and well, Evolution is on the same night as the Saturday night's main event, and then I believe the following week in Riyadh we have Night of Champions,
Yeah.
and
And
we have the King and the
Queen,
Queen,
Queen
the
of the
King and
Ring.
Queen of the Ring tournament start next week as well.
Yeah.
They announced
So
that on
yeah,
SmackDown this week, so that'll be happening at Night of Champions. I could see a belt changing hand at Night of Champions, but it's been a long time since that's happened.
Yeah.
But let's get to the finish of the main event, which was Cena doing Cena things or new Cena things, bringing the belt into the ring. And as the
Mhm.
ref was outside checking on a dead and prone Jey Uso and Logan Paul.
Well, yeah.
Uh,
Let's also the fracture between Cena and Paul,
yeah,
where they're just sort of. I mean, they've got
yelling
Jay
at each other. Yeah,
they're yelling at each other, and Paul's got Jay on the ground, and Cena tags himself in, and then
yeah,
Paul's like, "What the hell?" Boom, tags himself in. Cena's like,
yeah,
"What?" Boom, tags himself in,
yeah. They
and
start
going back
pushing
and
and
forth,
shoving.
and it pushes and shoves. I'm trying, and Cena's like, "I'm trying to teach you." It's like, "Well,
Yeah,
then teach me, motherfucker." And it's all,
yeah.
yeah, and
That ended
going,
up with Jay being able to hot tag in Cody,
yeah,
which got the ball rolling on the as Saint would say, the fuckery that commenced
yeah,
after that,
yeah. Not just,
including Logan Paul hitting a moonsault off of the second rope onto Jey Uso laying on top of the announce table.
yeah.
Um,
Now,
yeah, and Jey Uso spearing John Cena into the announce
Cena
table.
cleared
Not
both
through.
announce tables uh, to do Cody Rhodes, and then all of a sudden, here comes Jay off screen spear right to Cena on the announce table. Um,
hmm
that was really
That was
fantastic. Um, full props to Logan Paul for his ability, and I thought that was one of the things that he did was the most innovative thing, where he's up on the ropes, and so and then he's like, yeah, yeah, and you know, doing the come here, and
Oh, with
when
the
yeah,
when he took the
yeah,
superplex with
and
the while he was holding the droid, yeah, that was
yeah,
a pretty dope
yeah.
shot.
So he's getting
Yeah,
the and it's like, yeah, this is gonna go great on the gram, and then Jay does the superplex on him,
no,
and
no,
you
no. Cody hit
Cody
the
does
superplex.
hit the
Cody jumps like
superplex.
because he had Cody down. He was about to do the frog splash. He
Yeah,
called for the drone. The drone landed in his hand, and then you see Cody come up on the top rope, get him in position for a superplex, and
yeah,
take him up and over.
yeah,
And you get to see it all from the position of the
cut it
drone.
from the position of the drone. That was great camera work and great storytelling. Super wild for the referee cleared the drone out of the ring there.
Yeah.
Right.
That was that was aces. So um,
So
Cena,
the match
Cena
ends.
with Cena pinning Cody. Well, Cody.
No, Cody pinned Cena.
Oh, Cody pinned Cena. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So Cody is sitting in the ring prone. Cena grabs his championship. Ref is distracted with Logan Paul and Jey Uso, who just died on a moonsault and broke the announce table. And Ref is distracted. So Cena grabs the belt, gets in the ring, hits hits Cody Rhodes with the belt.
Yeah.
Right? To which Cena turns around and a guy in a black
Hoodie.
hooded thing jumps in, shoots Cena to the ground, starts pounding on him, gets up, takes off the hoodie, and reveals he is Ron Killings. Now, I
Yes.
want somebody to understand this. He is now listed as Ron Killings. He is no longer listed as R
Is our
Truth.
truth.
Yeah.
So R Truth is gone. Ron Killings is now here.
Yeah.
John Cena literally beat the R Truth out of Ron Killings. Okay, so
And
but
I
needless to
think
say,
that's gonna be interesting because
the
he
story.
also took
Well,
his
yeah.
belt too.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't take the belt with him. He took
I
it and
thought he
dropped
took
it
the.
on the ground. He
He
took it and
Okay.
dropped.
slid it out the ring, and then he hopped the barricade and ran
Yeah.
off. And then Cody hit Cena after Cena's been clocked with the belt by R Truth or by Ron Killings. Cody takes Cena, hits him with the
Crossroads.
crossroads, and pins him 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And ref
Uh,
is none the wiser.
yeah. That was a great ending in there. And now we get into the what is truth portion of the show. Whereas after the match in the post, um, Triple H kind of says, "Well, this was always the plan. It was always a work that the
Well, no, he said it was all part of the show.
is
He
all
never
part
he
of
never uses the word work. He just says it's all part of the show.
right."
Here's the thing about it.
But
Truth went on Twitter today, and him and his son both said that no, it wasn't a work. Here's where I was explaining to Dave off camera.
That's why I'm
I
looking like right now. Like
I think
get the
it's a
fuck outta
mixture
here.
of both. I think it's a mixture of both. I don't think that all the "We Want Truth" chants caused them to re-sign our truth. I think there was a small gap in um, what people or what they were willing to pay him versus what he wanted. And there was probably a couple of other hangups within the contract because the reports say that he was offered a contract to renew a while back and he chose not to. Okay, because he didn't like the terms of the contract. So when he says he's being released, to an extent, it's his own choice to leave. It's almost as if he's quitting. He was offered a new contract and decided not to sign it. I think they came back. I think with the "We Want Truth" stuff, and I think there were important people within the locker room that went to TKO and that went to WWE management and was like, "No, we need him around."
right, which
And that's what inspired them to offer him that little bit more of whatever he was asking for to bring him back. But then again, though, remember him reappearing. Nothing has been said that he re-signed,
mhm,
and his contract wasn't up when he made that announcement that he had been released. So there's still a good chance that at the end of all this, R Truth can still end up out of WWE. That's what I mean by it may be a work, it may not be.
yeah,
Just like
I,
the CM Punk leaving with the WWE belt in that feud with Cena. That
Yeah.
wasn't a work until it was. The contract was signed by Punk literally minutes before he went out to go wrestle that match.
Yeah.
So he literally had intentions to leave the company had he won the belt that night because he hadn't been re-signed. So it was a work until it wasn't. And I think it was the same thing with this. But those people that think that those little we want truth posts and the we want truth chants, that's what really convinced billion-dollar company TKO to bring our truth back, you're out your minds.
Right.
Like you're out your minds. Go on, Dave. And I got another
Um,
reference I'll make to that to last year's WrestleMania. Go on.
and I was just thinking, with the contract negotiations, if they did move over to give Truth a little more of what he wants, and part of the missing Roman Reigns is contract issues. I think that gives Roman Reigns a little bit more leeway in negotiating and getting a little more favorable contract.
Oh yeah. Well, Roman has the all the leverage he needs because
Hmm.
he is responsible for. He is primarily responsible. Him and the Bloodline are primarily responsible
Yeah,
for how popular WWE has been over the past 5 years. Like, period. So,
yeah,
Roman Reigns earned. I don't know about 15 million a year with incentives, which is what it is being rumored he is being paid, but he made them billions. So
and also talking about the bloodline,
yeah,
that actually brings up an interesting thing that I was thinking about with Worlds Collide,
what's that?
because as Conan was talking about all the lore and history, he mentioned, I can't remember what family it is. Who are um,
The
the
Wagners.
ones that, no, not well, not just the Wagners, but the ones that were in the triple tag team.
The Legado Fantasma?
Yeah, Legado Fantasma,
Yeah.
the tag team members, the Garza. You
Yeah,
know,
Hector Garza was one of their fathers, and the other guy is let's see,
yeah. But what I'm
yeah,
saying is that,
Umberto.
yeah, that Conan was mentioning that there's like 20 plus wrestlers, luchas in AAA that are all part of that family.
Oh yeah, they could put
So
together something similar to the
yeah.
Bloodline.
So, but what I'm saying is, let's get what would be fantastic would be Bloodline versus the triple WWE Bloodline versus AAA Bloodline
They could
feud.
do that. They could definitely do that. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. So, Saint, your thoughts on the R Truth situation?
My thing is this: some of that was cap, okay, and like I said, negotiations can be something. We already knew that the R Truth moniker was getting ready to drop, and once Ron Killings came back, it was just going to
Yeah.
be something different. And to be honest, I mean, WWE is, the one thing that no matter what the how the money situation is, the thing about it is that certain fans or certain wrestlers are have to, certain wrestlers want fans in those seats. You understand
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And even though our truth or Ron Killings was like comedy relief or something like that, that was a lot of impact just to even bring up the conversation with the possibility of, WWE not saying, hey, like, or going somewhere else other than maybe even TNA. Because
yeah.
AEW, come on, man, like, that would have been like a slap in the face.
I don't
That
think
would
he
have been a
ever even
slap in the
considered.
face. Yeah.
I
No,
don't
but
think he
I'm
would
just saying
consider it.
what. Yeah, I mean, possibly. You never know because listen, I was surprised
Oh, I'm not.
by a lot of things, when it comes to this, when it comes to this business. But hey,
I say I don't mean like he wouldn't go like, oh my god, out of loyalty to WWE. I just think if Ron Killings wasn't wrestling in WWE right now, he'd probably just be making music. Like there's not a real reason financially for him to run the WWE for it to AEW because he needs to make money for his family. Like they've paid that man millions, throughout his career. So I'm pretty sure he's invested it. And like I said, I could see him ending up in a situation where he just stops to kind of like Samantha Irving. Samantha Irving hasn't gone back to wrestling. She didn't go sign with AEW. She wanted to do her music. So that's what she's doing.
Mhm.
And I could see R-Truth kind of doing the same thing if WWE let him go.
I mean, he might do some stuff, but I mean, let's keep it a buck. I don't think it would be a career, and especially now.
It,
And I'm not saying that
no, I'm saying
it
it wouldn't
couldn't
have to
be.
be.
No,
I'm not saying it wouldn't have to be.
well, no,
Like
no, no. I'm just saying.
he could literally just do it on a side for fun.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
that's
this
what
man
I'm saying
made enough money
because
that he's set even if he's not working for WWE. His family's not going to starve even if he's not working for WWE and all he does is his music. So I'm not saying he's going to make millions and he's going to be
well,
Billboard
no, no, no.
top
I don't
50.
think.
I'm just
Well,
saying
no,
like
no, no, no.
without
I was.
music.
Well, no. What I was saying is that. See, the thing is that our Truth has been doing music for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, because it's still the R Truth thing. But Ron Killings has been
Yeah.
doing this music for a very long time, and then there are some, like he might just do it, for the kick of it. But I mean, in terms of like really like serious money or anything like that, I don't think that would be in the cards because like, don't get me wrong, he's 53,
Yeah.
okay, and a lot of the artists that we deal with in their 50s, they're pretty much dropping an album and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And or re-retire or doing something else. And I mean, shit, Ron Killings definitely has the chops. I mean, his music is not nowhere near weak. Period.
Yeah. No matter
So
what
yeah,
angle you
I
look at it
can
from.
yeah, I can definitely concur with that. Like he got bars.
Well,
So, real quick, last thing on our truth is this past week there were apparently on a podcast, um, Bully Ray and Mark Henry were commenting, and they suggested, our truth should go to AEW
yeah, AEW or
with
TNA.
and keep the gimmick that he still thinks he's in WWE
Yeah. And
in
yeah, they
there.
pitched it as a potential way to bring him into AEW that he would
Right.
just be backstage for the first like month or so and running into old WWE guys and thinking that he's still in WWE.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about it is that all those AEW fans who said that WWE having him doing stuff like that was a joke would love it if he came to AEW and
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they'd be like, "Oh my god, this storyline's so awesome," simply because he's doing it in AEW. But anyway,
He's doing
that's
it
just
for
a
their
concept.
team now. Yeah.
Yeah, but I see him as one of those people. He's like Taker. Like it didn't matter when Taker became a free agent. After say less from the streak being over on. It didn't mean it. Taker isn't gonna wrestle for nobody else. Taker isn't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Taker isn't gonna make appearances for AEW or any. Mark Calloway isn't showing up on AEW. Like he's a WWE lifer, and I think R-Truth is one of those people as well. I don't think R-Truth runs to another promotion. He might do some small gigs, some local gigs, like here and there, just for people, on the indie circuit. But I doubt he
Yeah.
ever goes full time for anybody else other than WWE.
Yeah.
Not to
Yeah,
mention the
that's
fact that I think as soon as he's done with them, they're going to lock him up on a Legends deal anyway,
Yeah.
just to be able to keep him coming around. But all right, so that will close our wrestling segment, which we never had Javier come out and do the sweeping, for SmackDown Alley. We just dived right into it.
what he
It's
do.
all
Get
good.
fired.
It is Tech Tinker's favorite part of the show, video games. Anyway, gentlemen, you guys had a couple of games you guys wanted to talk about. So,
Dave.
Saint, we'll start with you, sir.
All right. Basically, there's a game that is coming out tomorrow, or actually that will be out on Tuesday,
Uh,
and it is called Mind's Eye. Now, this is something something of a controversy, so to speak. So one of the creators, Leslie Benzines, is one of the creators of GTA. Leslie Benzines, he's done GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, and also GTA 4 and 5. And there was a little bit of controversy in terms of GTA trying to push, trying to like, give them bad press because Leslie Benzines is not, with it anymore, and he decided to go ahead and create his own IP. Well, this is my whole thing about that. Trust and believe you me, GTA is not gonna have any kind of concern whatsoever about Leslie Benzines and his project. Now, there could be some fan haters out there that may just not want to see any other project coming up from these other creators because I mean, go and figure. Everybody has to take a chance in trying to break away and doing different IPs. You know what I'm saying? It's a big thing, and he's got IOI Interactive, which is behind Hitman. I honestly believe that this game is probably going to pull off. It is possibly going to be a GTA clone in a sense because it's not fully open world, but it definitely has its own adventure. I definitely have seen some of the previews. I took a shot and took a chance. I pre-ordered it. It's got some nice, extra stuff on it, but we will see what happens when I debut it tomorrow night
all right, there
and
you go.
see how it goes. I'm probably just gonna run 1 hour with it, but we'll see how it turns out.
All right, Ruben Scryer,
Yeah.
you had a game for us?
Yeah. And we're going to embrace the complete irony of me being the one alerting everyone to this. Um, the other day, we got, uh, on courtesy of Game Informer, there is an upcoming Wu Tang video game.
I saw it.
Woo, Tang, woo.
Wu Tang Rise of the Deceiver. Now, we don't know release details. We have a bare sketch of the setting and everything like that. But yeah, I'm all in for this.
Okay.
So, um,
Well, there was a clip, right? Did
yeah,
you
yeah,
see the
there's a
clip?
clip. Oh, yeah, I watched the clip. Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, it's Ghostface Killer and RZA are they've got an upcoming film called Angel of Dust, which is supernatural thriller, and they wanted to tie in video game,
Okay.
Okay.
but evolved off of that. So Rise of the Deceiver is set in um, a fictionalized New York neighborhood called Shaolin,
Okay.
and so it looks like it's going to be supernatural action where you and up to three of your friends in co-op mode need to go through the neighborhood and basically imagine like Brooklyn and Staten Island with a wuxia makeover.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and the whole idea is to find the Wu Tang Clan and get their supernatural powers passed on to you,
Okay.
so that you can defeat
Okay,
the
that sounds
deceiver.
like that sounds like the story or adventure mode in Street Fighter 6. I'm getting the gist of it. All I'm this is my only thing is this. And as a fan and as a life, career long fan of the Wu Tang Clan, and I will say this: they've already had one game that came out, and that
Mhm.
was totally fucked. And what I mean, it was a piece of shit. It was on the PlayStation. It was the Wu Tang Clan. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a piece of shit. Okay?
Yeah.
I hope and pray that this gets connected, because I guarantee you there will be Wu fans everywhere. I have a Wu fan that lives with me now that knows that if the fuckery is comes from her with that, I guarantee you she's gonna raise all kinds of hell.
Yep. I totally understand. But this is a um, newish studio called Brass Lion.
Yeah, I know about Brass Lion.
Yeah. So we'll see how it all works out. Um, but yeah, it's basically uh, uh, um,
What?
the one of the I'm just going through the article right now as
Yeah.
we're talking, um, but one of the spokespeople for Brass Lion, um, uh, Evan Narcisse, senior writer. The game is about thematically their connection to their roots. What has happened to that place as the Wu have kind of become like legendary hip hop superstars, and the stakes of what it means to achieve a dream, maintain it, and help other people achieve theirs too. We're remixing their lives. It's basically going to take creative liberties. Well, supernatural martial arts kind of tend to do creative liberties.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Of course, it's
This,
creative liberties.
yeah.
It.
But this doesn't mean the team hasn't done their due diligence in terms of research. Storytelling draws from the books written by different Wu Tang members, various interviews and podcasts, and more fundamentally, the 2019 documentary series Wu Tang of Mics and Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
So,
Sounds good. Sounds like
yeah,
it's worth looking for. What's up,
sounds
Sam?
like it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
yeah. There was one thing I wanted to make mention. So on Wednesday, we had the PlayStation State of Play. Today, we had the Xbox Showcase. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you, there is one fighting game. I don't know if it's going to be on the 5, or I don't know if it's, but I know it's definitely going to be on the S, or and on the Series S and X. There is a fighting, there is an invincible fighting game. And ladies and gentlemen, what I saw today, that is going to be a straight up slobber knocker. That is
Yeah.
going to be straight up violence. This is probably going to out violent Mortal Kombat. Okay, we're talking
Invincible
I
about
don't
as
know.
in
blood,
the
like
Invincible
no,
as
Yeah,
in
to the
like
cartoon.
the animated series.
it's called Invincible
Oh,
Versus. And when I
Okay.
guarantee you, when you see the trailer for this shit, man, that will be a definite for fighting games, and
Okay.
that will definitely be in my collection. Thank God I own
All right.
both systems. Jeez.
All right. There.
yeah.
Uh, we're running up close to end time here, so I'm going to bring up just one subject, gentlemen, that I wanted to talk to you guys about. It seems as if the new Deadpool VR game will be using the infamous, the notorious, the miraculous Neil Patrick Harris as the voice of Deadpool instead of Ryan Reynolds. So I personally loved his character Barney on How I Met Your Mother.
Mhm.
So I think that him being playing the Deadpool or voicing the Deadpool character makes perfect sense to me. Like, yeah, we've all grown to know and love Ryan Reynolds as the lovable Deadpool character, but I think Neil Patrick Harris is not going to let anybody down in
He's
doing
a
that.
great
Like,
vocal talent. Yeah.
yeah,
Shout out
he
to
has a.
Nolan North too.
I was gonna say he's got great comedic timing, and it is just for a video game, so it's not like they can't
Yeah.
redo to take 5 million times, even though that
Right.
would cost them a lot of money. But yeah, so just would love to get your guys' thoughts on MPH replacing Ryan Reynolds for this VR game.
Yeah, it is what it is. We'll see. I mean, I'm gonna just wait and see how it goes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's the nature of the
that
beast,
was
man, when it comes to this
that
shit.
it is.
So yeah.
That it is. All right, gentlemen. So we will go. That will take us to our closed segment, which is always, where can we find you next? So, RuneScar, going ahead and start us off this time. What's going on over there on the night shift?
Okay, tonight on the night shift, I know I was lax on this weekend on Friday and Saturday. I didn't get to my plans to continue Horizon Zero Dawn. Just a lot of crap this weekend that I had to deal with, and then the wrestling Saturday. But tonight I am free and clear, and I will be returning with Spider Man Miles Morales. And I gotta say, having just done the fight between Miles and his uncle Aaron,
Predator.
that was a gut punch on the same level of the ending of the first Spider-Man game.
Wow.
I mean, that was so.
Really well done.
Yep. I'm not really enjoying the sound sampling um, side quest thing,
Mm.
but overall, I'm loving the game. I'm loving how deep they're getting into Miles, his personality, um, and just how much he is his own character. Despite being another Spider-Man, he is his own character, and very different ways from Peter Parker.
Saint, what's your run for this week?
Okay, so we will be dropping an NVT deuce this evening because I was trying to get it worked out this morning, but just working out some other tidbits because we're trying to get we're trying to get our other streams back up because of course the other day I streamed Tecmo Bowl
Yeah.
and
That was nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been getting a lot of play for that, so we're definitely going to be doing something. But NVT dues tonight, whenever if the classroom is running, then definitely we'll be running after that, shortly after that, actually. So, yeah.
All right. So, first, I'll tell you guys where you can catch me next video game wise. As always, that's on Tuesday. Again, depending on how my Monday goes, there may be a pop up stream tomorrow of Gran Turismo 7. Still loving that game. It's excellent. Here's the big announcement, y'all. Tonight, for the first time in 5 years, damn near, well, it feels like that if it hasn't been that, we will have a returning face to the classroom.
Don't
That's
tell
right.
me.
He went out and got his degree, and he's making his way back. The one and only Mr. Suave will be joining me and O'Malley tonight for this
Oh,
week's edition
shit.
of the Classroom. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right, y'all. Be sure to tune in about an hour and a half as we're going to be talking some NBA Finals. We're going to be talking MLB. We're going to be talking NFL offseason and everything in between, but it should be myself, Suave, and O'Malley. Should everything stay as they are now? So be sure to join us for that. And
let's just do the West Coast bias intro just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
yeah. Thought about it. Oh, I'll
See,
say that,
see.
I may get Suave back for an episode here or there. We're actually going to be reaching out to the old basketball coach, the Duel, see if he wants to come back for an episode as well. We're going to be bringing back some familiar faces, so this is just step one in that. But yeah, be sure to tap in for that 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern. We may run till about 7:30 since we got a 3-man panel. So that'll be that. All right. So other than that, guys, we want to thank everybody that tapped in. Saint, you know who tapped in the chat room. Give some shout outs to, is it Dr. Dodie Priest?
Yeah, Dr. Dodie Priest. That's what I said.
Dr. Dodie Priest.
Yeah.
Chris 11, 21.
And Kitty Bradshaw.
And Kitty Bradshaw, who all tapped in from the YouTube side. Well, the thing is, tapped in a few times. Thank you for watching and for tapping in. But no matter where you found us, whether that be Double KK Double Network, First GenXers Presents YouTube, or right here on Twitch, this has been the Cheap Pop Podcast, and we say thank you.
Hold on.
We love you.
And
we out.
And we're getting ready to hold tight. Gotta make sure we do this right, man. We want to go ahead and try to raid somebody, so let's just make it happen. All right, and we're good to go.
All right, peace out.
All right, lovely radio show. Let's go.